It's almost 1 o'clock at night. Thought I'd make some more videos about my homeless experiences. You know, some of the reasons that for the first 5 years that I nearly was digging in trash cans for food and thought that, okay, well, this is probably the next thing they're going to have me do, isn't the environment is so hostile and so bad that even when I was sleeping at the park, they would shoot they would track me down like they always do, and they handheld give the person the gun, the device, and they post it up somewhere in the perimeter of the forest, or not necessarily forest, but any environment where they can, it'll reach me and it'll shoot me. If it's not in my phone, that they just press a button, it shoots out waves through my phone and makes me shit, or it shoots the laser beam. And the electronic device is so violent that when it's time for me to wake up in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's 40 degrees outside, I have clothes all over my body. I don't get to take showers very often at all. There's roaches. I smell. I have no money. People are just disgusting to me. Intentionally, very direct at me. This is no mistake. There is no, oh, I accidentally did this. No, there's Hector, there's Taliban. He doesn't worship Jesus. We're going to go spit at him. Or we're going to go degrade him because he hurt our feelings of our gay community. And this is for the fight for the gays and the rapes they can get away with. So, whatever reason and motive that they use, it was one reason or the other, but they were informed to target me. I'm a public enemy. And so, when the environment is so bad, they're shooting the electronic devices. I don't know when they decide and how and what day and what method behavior I do that then they start being real violent. Not just the people, but I'm talking about the electronic devices. So they'll shoot an electronic device. They'll shoot an electronic device into my kneecaps where it'll hurt the fucking kneecap really fucking bad. I'm talking, I can't even walk. They know, and it injures my body limb so that I can't walk more than 30 minutes. And I'm telling you, I have not caused an injury to myself. I have been able to make it to my destinations physically somewhat of how they're making me shit myself in my pants nearly. They're controlling me. But the electronic device, they can adjust to what ratio, frequency it spreads out the pain. So let's say this is a laser beam. Well, they can narrow down like you do on a magnifying glass, and it spreads so that when it shoots and the circumference is wider, it'll hurt more of a surface area. And they can measure whether it hurts the bones, the actual bones inside my physical body and muscle tissue. They know what frequencies to use. So some of them will make you feel like you're getting burned, like by a cigarette, or it'll hurt the entire tissue so that they'll shoot the electronic device and it bruises the actual physical, it hurts the actual physical bones, so that when for me the time to get up and try to go to a restaurant or try to go to a 7-Eleven, get some Hot Pockets or like some Pop-Tarts, something light, not too much sugar, and get something for fuel, it becomes so staggering when I already only have $20 to spend for the next 3 days before my unemployment gets there, that I'm in a lot of fucking pain. And they're shooting me, and they do this, and it's constant. And so there were times when I was inside, there were times when I was sleeping next to a trash can in a park, and just depending on what type of environment, whether the mooses or animals or bears, or I have to be careful because I have to have a weapon or a deterrent for me to be able to run, because it's happened to me before where there was like a stray dog, or there was a snake, like a 4-foot snake, or there was a moose, or there'd be a wild animal. So I have to like find something where I could run to, like a bench or a fucking maybe a tree or something, in case something happens because I'm asleep. Well, what they'll do is that when they're beating me and I'm sleeping next to this trash can, that I'm eating next to these trash dumpsters daily. I go get food and I'll have snacks in my backpack, and I'll be 10 feet away from a trash can, and people will be spitting in my direction, and whatever it may be, throwing trash, or they'll start laughing at me and they'll look at their phone like they're in control. So I now believe that the people that are beating me are so bad that they tell the people that they're in control. So it'll be a total stranger to tell me, you do what I tell you to do, otherwise you know what's going to happen. And this is what they did with the murder attempts. This is the guy that pulled the knife on me when I was on the train. And this went on for a very long time. You're talking, it's a O.J. Simpson trial. Just like everybody hated O.J. Simpson, exactly like that. Exactly. Maybe he really didn't do it. Maybe there's a chance that this person really didn't do it. It doesn't matter. Everybody hated fucking that month. Everybody hated him and wanted him dead and was not going to treat him with any respect. Nobody. And that's what they did to me. So when I was being beaten with electronic devices, and this is on a daily basis, they began shooting something like, I don't know what it is, what they like, a different frequency that they use, but they do it in this apartment and many other places that I stayed at, most of all places also. They use this specifically when I was with Julian in his apartment, and they shoot an electronic device. They shoot an electronic device against the wall, and it sounds like somebody's throwing a piece of rock, or the wall, the sheetrock is cracking, or like if I were to just do this, like, and it shoots against the wall, the surface of the wall. It doesn't make any marks, it doesn't cut, scratch, but it sounds like somebody's doing something. It's a vibration. So they began shooting the dumpster, the trash can that I was in at times, and then they'd shoot my testicles, and then they would shoot, painfully put my kneecaps so that I'm kneeling near a trash can, and they would do this in order to train me, to degrade me, to humanize me. I would call them within a day or two, the police, and I would be in Alaska. This has happened in Alaska, and when I was in Alaska, the police officers then began hacking into my phone, and not the police officers, whoever it was, and they began hanging up the phone, and it would literally take, I'm not joking, about 15 rings on a 911 phone call. When someone finally picked up the phone, the individual did not sound like a not normal 911 operator. They sounded very threatening, very unwilling to help me, listen to me, and they immediately express their emotions and vibrant over the phone. Every time. So they do this because they want the most demoralizing behavior, and they're not going to tell you that. Remember how Frank is getting raped? Oh, I didn't know it was just your Jesus bullshit cross, huh? It did it that fucking time, didn't it? They don't give a shit. You have to throw any God evident of belief into the trash can. That's not going to work. That's not going to fucking work. All that is bullshit. God is not going to come from the heavens and strike a lightning bolt because someone's making me eating out of a trash can, and President Barack Obama is giving the orders to his faggots, just like he ordered and going to make an explanation to why I was raped by a transgender. None of that in life is ever going to happen. It never has. And never will. If it does, it's the spontaneous of a lightning bolt. It's spontaneous it's not going to happen. Hitler, a million people died in the Holocaust, not going to happen. Nobody's going to save me. And it is very, very difficult mentally when these people know that they can make it worse at any given time. Who's shooting me with the electronic devices, they know they're in control. And they know that I know that they're in control. That they give the keys and they give the gun to whoever they want. And then they have people do this to me. And you have to, I hope to God that for anybody who gives a shit about my life, that isn't any one of these faggots or the people shooting these electronic devices or the movement for Sarah and Ken Cooper, Kenneth at the radio station. It's every time that I have ever traveled and everywhere I've ever gone, I'm talking, I lived in like 15 different towns in Seattle, Washington. Redmond, North Seattle, South Seattle, West Seattle. I'm 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm 3 o'clock in the morning at a train stop, dark and black as fucking hell, with like other black guys that look like they're going to prison or they just got out of prison. I mean, and looking for a fight. Like, it's no joke. And I'm by myself. I have no weapons. I have a fucking backpack and I have $30 in my pocket. And they look like they're looking for a fight. I mean, without a doubt. And this is all the time. And like, I'm just feeling on my luck. I'm always avoiding that. I'm always avoiding conflict. It does not matter. I get on the bus driver doesn't. When I get on the bus, they tell the people on the bus, and they're dispatching them. This is hatred. This isn't paparazzi. This isn't celebrity. This is, I want to get rid and kill. I want to make this person suffer. And I enjoy it because the president's giving me the privilege. We all suffer. We're all going to die. I don't have a problem living in this world. The fact is, I'm not able to live like any of these faggots or any of these other people, which they can go and live their faggot lives, but as a normal human being, where they can't track me down, I can get on a bus, nobody knows who I am, the bus drivers, nobody, and I go about my life, get an apartment and get a job. That's how I live life. I am not allowed to do that. I cannot go to work for a company where absolutely no one has ever known who I ever was in life. And I am not able to live a normal life that way. Everyone else is. When everyone else goes to a job, they either already built the friendships, right? Or they go to these, because everyone's gay. There's so many faggots. It doesn't change the fact that you get to introduce yourself, and you get to basically, nobody already has a platform of pointing a gun at you. So when I'm at these places, it just doesn't ever stop. It never stops. I'm getting on the fucking bus. Before, you don't understand how detailed they are. They know where I'm going when I get off. When I'm on the bus, there'll be maybe 3 seats left open. 4 seats. They know that I'm getting on the bus, and it happens to be some fucking faggot piece of shit who does want to pull a knife, does want to do something. Is the guy that will fucking put feces in my food when I go to Jack in the Box. Is the guy that will put his penis in fucking the ketchup just to fucking for fun. You ever hear about people do that with pizza orders and shit? You remember how people use they filed criminal charges for some of these people who put feces in a pizza, and they were putting feces in food, and it was funny, and they caught them on camera. That's exactly what these people were doing. These are the kind of people that I'm come in contact with. So when I get on the bus, they'll spit a loogie on the chair so that I can't sit down. And I've been standing up all fucking day. I'm homeless. I have no money. Now that I have disability, you know what makes it even better for these people? Oh, he has money now. Now we can give him a reason to do even more bad things at times. Because if it wasn't bad enough, now it gives them the reason that I have something that can keep me alive and more contentful to try to help myself than it is to, have some sort of security of my own. And so it becomes even more difficult. So but not as more as difficult. It not more difficult, but it's not to be playing for me. You got to understand, they're not there for me. They're not there to help. They're not. I'm in Alaska. I'm in Ketchikan, Alaska. You know, and there'll be somebody that will come by me walking down the street, and they'll pull out a knife. And this didn't happen in Ketchikan, but while I was in Ketchikan in Alaska, you know, somebody will be pulling up the garage, and you'll see, you know, almost like some weapons on the floor, and they're looking at me crazy. This guy referenced, you know, people know how to talk about prison talk when they talk about rape, and they talk about violent. And I stayed there, Ketchikan, in a shelter for a couple of days, and there was a couple of guys talking about, you know, they were in prison, and they just got out of prison, and they began talking about, they know how to talk about, you know, we're gonna rape you, we're gonna fuck you. And one of them said, and was looking at me directly, and you don't understand how friendly I try to talk. I mean, it's with the intent to harm, for fear. And I'm in this the shelter's like the size of this entire apartment, but without any walls. Maybe a little bit bigger. And there's like 10 of us. I don't know why there's 10 people that are homeless, and this white supremacist says, no, I know how to behave when I went to prison. And he's looking at me like he's telling me that you better behave the way I tell you, because this is prison. This is prison. This is what I'm going to tell you to fucking do. And so they know the prison talk. You don't have to be a very large and scary person. You just have to be willing to kill yourself to go kill somebody else. That's all you don't care. Prison is your second home. You like the lifestyle. That's why so many people go in and out of prison, because they enjoy the lifestyle. They like prison. They like the violence. They like the incarceration system. How they have clockwork, going, taking showers certain times of the day, lunch. They like that processing shit, and being able to rape people or beat them up and be masculine by ordering people, just be more ordering toward people. They like being around other faggots, because at least 50% of the people in prison are faggots. They're gays. And to them, that's paradise. You want a fucking free dick? You want somebody to be able to get you a boyfriend? Yeah, that's a paradise for you if you get a life sentence. You go 10 years, you don't like women. You like dick and being fucked in the ass to someone else. If you're not doing it in prison yourself, you like it because you see other guys fucking other guys because they're faggots. Yeah, the gay movement. And that's what they do. So they were making this conversation, you know, and then I don't go back to the shelter. I start sleeping on the shores, and this is why I started sleeping on the shores near the boats, because they were talking all this shit, and one of them said, he goes, yeah, I'm going to wait until I go to sleep, and then I'm going to tuck you in. And, like, they would say this shit, and they're looking for trouble, and the behavior of all these people, you got to understand, the police officers are consistent, very strict, and very military almost, directed at me. They're not they're not there to help me. They like the fact that there's other people doing this. They're going to use the law against me. They're not there to help me in any way. They want to put me in a cage, or they want to take me to a mental hospital, but they're not to inform me so that I'm in my own well-being and I walk away about my life. They're not going to do that. I can never express this enough, because there's so much hatred and so much confinement that I don't have time to pick up my phone and every conversation and tell you how many people and police officers are doing this to me. Because when a police officer drives by and he starts fucking laughing, 3 days, last week, there was a paramedics that drive by. And they've been driving by to go to this old man's, Ken Cooper's, suicide supporter. He goes over there, the ambulance does. This guy, the passenger and the ambulance guy, he's fucking laughing. as I'm smoking a cigarette. And he doesn't really make eye contact. He's laughing. They're going to this guy, and this guy is missing a fucking leg. Probably doesn't have more, maybe 5-6 years left before he dies. And this guy's laughing. Like, they do this shit. I'm telling you, I've been in the... When I had the murder attempt, same thing was happening with a police officer. It was so fucked up. It was so consistent about what was happening that you're just trying to fetch out life, because any life that I have ever known in my youth, any life that I've ever known in my youth, where I had dignity, people wouldn't bother me, and I could defend myself. You had dreams. Any life that I ever had dreams. I had goals that were very fixated. I had my normal sort of routine like we're supposed to have, like everyone. You know, you have your fitness routines, you have, your education, you have some knowledgeable laughter, smiling, excitement, all these emotions, crying, feeling emotional, empathetic, they all rewire those emotions, and you don't feel the majority of them anymore. You don't think, you have no idea, you don't feel those emotions anymore. And it's not you becoming evil. You're not allowed to. Because the times where I started to feel emotional or crying underneath the bridge, there were times that they would beat the fuck out of me with an electronic device. And then they make me shit so that you can't physically feel the emotion. Just the same way that this guy downstairs and whoever set in these electronics, they shoot an emotional impacting machine device into my chest, forcing me to feel emotion for that crucifix, the way that they see it, and the way that they train me in my atmosphere. That's exactly, they've done this in churches to me before, threatening me in the churches, cursing, all kinds of shit. I've seen guys fucking hitting the fucking desk or the podium or whatever it is, telling me you better worship fucking Jesus Christ. I'll fuck you up. Like, literally like a fucking dog, like a little puppy dog. There's a black guy that comes into the fucking church, has to go in there and says, calm the fuck down. Like, he didn't say calm the fuck down, but he's a big built dude, and he's like, calm down. Watch it. Like, I'm not joking. It's happened in Alaska. It's happened in several other places. And it's a mental formation. You just can't do anything. Because the police and the people that are tapping my phone, they're not there to help me. They're there to steal, take, and get away with their own gay community. 95% of the time. Every fucking corner. They don't care. Michael Rossiter's a faggot gay and he tried raping me. Let's give him the cross and crucifix. We're going to help him and give him a good job, but we're going to give him a forgiveness coupon. Just like when this guy raped and beat the shit out of my brother Frankie when he was 6-7 years old, raping him in his fucking ass. Coming right in his fucking goddamn mouth. And then molesting me. I don't even remember if I sucked this guy's fucking dick when I was like 5 years old. I couldn't remember because I was a little fucking kid, but I'm telling my mother, she's picking up the bruises. There's welts on Frankie's fucking body, the size of a fucking softball. Every goddamn faggot, transgender motherfucker helped these fucking pieces of shit for over 10 fucking years. They got a normal job, they got a fucking house to live in, they had 2 cars, a fucking dog, and their kid. Their kid, Mickey, gets a brand new fucking house because they sent he got some girl, I don't know if she was transgender or not. They gave him a house because they see he made a boo-boo. That's what they did. I mean, it's so bizarrely unfair. Many of the people that began attacking me was because they were feeling that I'm going to represent Diana, I'm going to represent Miguel, and then they would engage at me because I began to show frustration toward them. Even before that. You got to keep in mind, I don't even remember this up until I was 35 years old. I was somewhere around 35 to 36 years old where I drew the maps. I said, wait a minute, this guy did rape Frankie and slapped my mother. And it wasn't until then. But you got to understand, from when I was a kid, teenager, in my early 20s, I don't see them and understand he's a rapist, child rapist, and punching Frankie. I don't see him that. But when I go to my jobs, everyone else knows about it. Do you know how they persecute me for that? They're all showing empathy and sympathetic for that motherfucker and his transgender fucking wife. That's all they did. That's all they fucking did. Now they get somebody that looks like Miguel, somebody that looks like Diana. They walk by me. They began showing aggression, violent behavior, clenching hands, and somebody shooting me with electronic devices. Don't say nothing. You see how the faggot gets away with what he wants? And they rewire, they're very calculating. This isn't an accident, this isn't misguiding, this isn't me being too detailed. They're doing this with intention. They're not there to help you. They are there to degrade you and dehumanize you. Just as the Germans in Nazi concentration camps, before they're going to concentration camps, they're stealing their property, they're throwing their luggage off the balcony, they're stealing their fucking money, they're not letting them sit down at a restaurant and eat, just like during the 60s and 50s, people black, just like in the time when my dad couldn't sit down at a restaurant because he was colored. And he couldn't, my father grew up, he could not drink from the clean water fountain from the white people. He had to drink the shit colored, and there was this color sign that we drink from the colored dog shit fountain. That's the way separation is what they're doing. But everyone else is perfectly fine. Everyone else does have to experience some sort of racism. But I'm the public eye, and they're all doing this with intention of hatred. They're not there to help. It's to dehumanize me. Dehumanize me, and then use psychological warfare with these electronic devices and very sick, demented, dark psychology on me to then justify what they're doing to me. Because it's the President of the United States claiming that is giving them the orders to do this. And every single person does this. But you got to keep in mind, the police officers are not there to do anything but harm. They are not there to help. They're not. They pick and choose who they want to help. This is not anything. It doesn't matter how right I am in a good position. They're not there to help. They're there to hurt, persecute, and throw me in a cage. That's it. Once they throw my dead body in a fucking cage in a jailhouse, they've won everything they've ever wanted. They're not there in any good at all. Zero. They know about Kenneth. They've already done the harm that they want. Now they want to justify it. No, you're not justifying anything. They like dead bodies. They're not there to help. They're there to fight for the gay community and arrest innocent and harm people and use that law against them directly toward them in a personal note. I was at the Julian shelter 3 years ago. 3 years, like 3 years ago. It was like 3 or 4 years ago. At the Julian shelter in St. Clair, California. And I saw this one police officer who was a straight female. I saw her. This blonde lady. And she parked next to a transgender police officer. And you could tell it was rivalry between the two. The same way that when I got arrested after I got raped, there was a black lady that showed up to go put the faggot police officer who's behaving with a military haircut and a military attitude at me. This guy was full military, behaving like he was capturing and killing the Taliban. And there was a lady that showed up that put him in his place and said, "Fuck off." Like, didn't say anything, but like, I'm crying on the curb with Brian. Like, it's really fucked up because all the police officers have been notified. All the faggots, they get notified, they get dispatched, they have their introductions at their police department. Those are all faggots. The sergeants, the chiefs, all that. And they just want to target, especially people like me that President Barack Obama targeted. I met Michael Jackson. I was a DJ. There's a lot of people, connections that I knew. I was one person on the top of the list to either have murdered, dispose of, throw in a set up and frame me in any way and target me, because they don't like the fact that I'm going to abuse Michael Jackson's notoriety and power with all these rapes and everything that happened. And they wanted to get away with it. And they did, ultimately, all these years that Ken and Sarah Cooper knew about this, and several other police officers in the fire department I saw and knew about it. I was there. I saw it with my own eyes. I was fucking there. I was there with Mickey. Mickey saw the shit, and I could verify what I had to say because I was with him. He saw what was happening. So did Frankie. We were there. So I think it's important because, you know, the trails of being homeless is that because they're watching me so refinedly. I pick up the phone. I have to, you know, call food stamp office because I changed my address, you know, mailing address, because it's a mailing address and I'm still living underneath a bridge or park. So I have to find a mailing address when I'm homeless because I have no place to send my letters to in case the Social Security office or a food stamp, I didn't have Social Security at the time, but in case the food stamp office sends me a letter that they need some paperwork or something, I constantly have to just spend a whole week being homeless and wait for them to send me a letter just so I can fax 1 or 2 sheets of paper. And I'm not kidding, I have to waste that entire whole week just laying underneath the bridge, no money. People are harassing me, threatening me. I can't sit down and eat at a restaurant. I can't sit down on a chair. I have to always look over my shoulders. And they're sending these people, they're dispatching them. And police officers occasionally drive by me making threats at me, giving me very dirty, nasty, fucking crazy looks, you know. And they keep doing this. But the number one thing is to distribute the most untrustworthy reliant of them. Because when a person does that, just like any other person or many other people, you're more likely to do something violent. You're more likely to allow people to harm you, rape you, steal from your property, your bank accounts, you tell them personal information, basically to ravage and rape you in not every way, and sometimes physical, but not just physical, to just ravage and rip you apart in any way that they want, morally and as a human being, to dehumanize you, because that's what they want. That is what they want. And they know that they'll just point the finger and they'll just take you to jail or the other person. And there's 300 more of them. But you're left with those scars. You're left with that pain. You're left with that untrustworthy. And you're just trying to survive. I'm eating trash can food in Las Vegas at the fucking, you know, at this boat, fucking goddamn, you know, I'm eating shrimp, and if food tasted like it came out of a trash can, I swear to fucking God, it was out of a fucking trash can. I swear to fucking God. And the guy that engaged at me was threatening me. And like, violently comes over, like, you better eat this food, or else I'm gonna punish you. And then he stands in a military form, like he's doing this for the president. I don't carry guns, I don't carry knives, but if I did, it would be the end of both of us and several other people. But it makes me very upset. The president and all these people are playing along. They're all faggots. This is not kindness, this is not love. Then they begin using the crucifix. But they've already identified every person in my life that has done horrific things to me to then make them into heroes, to make them justify into a recuperation. There is no recuperation for the life that they took away from me. Now they want to beat me to then tell me how they're going to get away with it. When I want justice, to then lose their life the way that I did. You don't get to recuperate nothing in your life again. And I did nothing. They know about my dad's money being stolen. They become threatening me about that money. They tell so many other people that they'll then bring another old man that tries to sort of foreplay my father and his money. It's so crazy and disgusting. This is not me going into the details because I'm looking for trouble and I'm looking to fight. I'm looking just to look at shit. I'm telling you, I'm sitting in a restaurant, I turn my head, they have another faggot that sit at this table intentionally that comes in 10 minutes after I sit down to then harass me. I look to my left, another 5 minutes later, someone else arrives within 5 feet of me to make sure that I can hear what they have to fucking say, and they begin talking about me being raped, and then starts laughing. I then wait another 15 minutes as I'm eating some of my meal, and to even see if it's poison or hair or fucking feces like they have before. And 15 minutes later, there's another person 20 feet away from me that looks exactly like Sarah Cooper doing this. I mean, behaving physically and expressively crazy toward me. And I'm just trying to act normal, not trying to order too many alcohol drinks, or thinking that I should add alcohol drinks off the fucking menu, because I don't drink. Rather, I should get some tequila shots and some beers. I get up to go use a restroom because I'm forced to use a restroom while I'm eating at a restaurant. I'll be eating my meal and they begin shooting me. Like, I'll be eating my meal and they'll do this. And I have to get up and I'm literally putting the spoon to my mouth and they shoot the electronic device, forcing me to shit. And I have to get up in the middle of a restaurant in front of people to go to the bathroom, pull my pants down, and shit in the fucking toilet. And I barely just started eating my meal and just about halfway through my meal. This is what they're doing. This is what they do to me. When I get to the bathroom, Ken Cooper's identical twin lookalike is in the bathroom. And when I'm get out of the toilet, Ken Cooper's representative and Kenneth's representative is still there. And I'll go and wash my hands. I'll go and start washing my hands, and then Ken Cooper's representative will come next to me and then wash his hands, act aggressive, and he'll grab the paper and goes and rips it violently. And he's expressing this, and this is inside the bathrooms. This is inside the bathrooms after I'm being shot with an electronic device to make you shit yourself. This is every day. I go, they'll be enforced. The waiter starts, and then the server comes around me, and he's like signaling to the people, "We got him. He's our bitch. We got this fucking piece of shit motherfucker." And you can see the body language. Sometimes they'll make eye contact, just depending the atmosphere, and they'll start doing this shit. Keep in mind, my mind is always on the electronic devices. What's the next thing? How they're going to beat me? When I'm going to get cancer? I'm going to die? Food stamps? There's nothing ever that I'm thinking how I can build myself in the gym. It's all about, man, I used to be able to do that, allowed to go work out. I used to be allowed to do some of these things. I used to be able to sit down at a restaurant and have a fucking meal and get treated like a person. I used to be able to sit down and go to a fucking, a Taco Bell and not have somebody persecute me with a crucifix, telling me I'm going to burn in hell because I don't believe in Jesus. I used to be able to go to an electronic device. They're shooting me right now with the electronic device on the bottom of my heel right now, real violently, and it hurts. I'm not kidding you. They're doing this right now. Remember I talked about that left means Jesus and right means all the spiritual light? Well, they'll listen to my conversation and they'll begin shooting these things, saying, "Oh, you see how Jesus healed you? You see how Jesus healed you?" And they'll begin making me believe and train that, and they begin beating me this way, so that then I feel emotions toward that. Just like this hurts. Oh, emotion hurts. Forcing me to emotion that. And this is what they're doing to justify it. Now, if I didn't have these crucifixes and all these other shit in this Bible, they would be beating the fuck out of me in other ways for that very reason. And begin threatening me in the stores. When I make a phone call, same thing. They're training I pick up the phone call, they do it to somebody else, and it's so consistent. I'm 41. There's not anything normal about it. You know, there are so many times that I can't even express. Like, I would go and be forced to go take a shit, and I'd be sleeping at a park, and I'd be there all fucking day, 10 hours, just on my phone, playing video games, or talking to the crisis line, smoking cigarettes, because I have not a lot of work. I can't communicate with people because they're violent, and they're making me shit. They're using the electronics so violently that they're not allowing me to have a very, really healthy communication with human beings. And they do this to train me like a corner puppy dog in a corner. Yes, we raped you. Yes, we raped you. Yeah, you stuck your dick in a dead body. Yeah, Patricia, feel sorry for Barack Obama's transgender movement. Yeah, you see, all it's not what we did. Shut your mouth. Shut your fucking mouth. And they're doing this consistently like this. And I'm just in a fucking corner. And they're just, I told you what to do. Yeah, okay, now you see, now give him extra $20. You see, give him $20. You see. And so they do this behavior toward me. Like, they give me a treat. I mean, I'm not kidding you. I was in Alaska, and I was at a college campus. This guy approaches me real violent, and I'm nearly digging in trash cans. And he comes toward me, and he brings a candy bar, a snack toward me. And he acts like a child molester. He goes, look, you want this? Huh? Here you go. You see, and he does this and he waves it in front of me like I'm a dog. I have no money, and I become very pathetic, and I grab, thank you. This is what they're doing. And I look to see what looks like to be Diana in a college at the Alaska University, Anchorage, Alaska University. And it looks like Diana's walking back and forth. I swear to God. And it was this white, skinny guy that did this. White, real skinny guy. And it's hard to express that type because, you know, the only thing that violence is just going to bring is what the police officers and the faggots in society, they want you to die in there. You'll just die, especially since I'm already a cancer patient and I'm already 40 years old now, but especially when you've already got cancer when you're 23, all these people think you're going to die within 5 years. You're going to develop cancer. They're going to think you're going to develop within 10 years. They all know you're going to die soon. And they like that because their attitudes is always exercising murder and hatred. I want you dead, and I like this. It makes me feel power. So, not only am I thinking that to myself and trying to eat healthy, they won't let me work out. The life quality, there's nothing. The number one thing that violence brings is just, that's what the police officers did, that's what they did. That's why I got 45 tickets right after cancer. Because when I'm working out, and I started to build muscle like a normal person. They had me on steroids for like 6 months. I got pretty muscular. And I was, bench pressing like 265, 270. And, it was difficult because you have to understand that there's nothing normal. Like, you're going to go to prison and jail if you get violent. Nothing good is going to come from this, and you're going to develop cancer. This is the atmosphere. I know what these people are thinking. They show there's an attitude. They start coughing in front of me. I've had people just literally, it's almost like spitting at my face, but they'll cough and they'll spray the fucking cough at me. This happened to me. It was about a month and a half ago. Kenneth Cooper's transgender supporter, random people they call, walks by me when I'm at a Walmart. This Walmart over here walks by me and goes like this, and just out of nowhere, just looks at me and goes and coughs right at me. I swear to fucking God, it's outside on the cameras. You can see that shit. If they're not trying to control that a little bit better now, You have no idea that what was going on in my 30s for 5 fucking years. When I was, when I was working out and I was getting all these fucking tickets, it is because to prevent you from ever doing that, ever living a normal life. You're not allowed to live in this life in normal. I don't like the fact that you're living in this world. I say who gets a quality existence and who doesn't. And I do this through the police department. And I know that they fucked the shit out of Frankie's asshole, and other people probably raped him, but we're going to go help Miguel because we have to go help the detective, Ken Cooper and Sarah Cooper, and help Kenneth because he's a political power mover for President Barack Obama, for the black niggas at the radio station, and for the Mexicans, even though he looks all full-blown white. And he's a cowboy. And he's a faggot transgender motherfucker with all his faggots that are doing this. That's why. Because when you try to defend yourself, go to your cage, you don't have anything. That was why. Michael Jackson? The fucking nigger? The Michael Jackson? His emotions? He got Frankie fucked in his ass and he's a hero? He's doing this for the gays. And there's a patriotic in these faggots that there is an emotional, that he's a god. This motherfucker is a god to these people. And it's very difficult because him and his goddamn fucking monkey family are long gone. And they just disappeared. It doesn't change the fact that I still have to deal with police officers die, get cancer, get terminally ill, be tortured. Life still goes on, but they still have that tool they use against me. I don't get anything from these motherfuckers. And anything good ever came. Nothing. I didn't get any money, fame, rape. Nothing good came from this shit. And then any good that did say that it came, they tried to say that it came from him. And then they latched on the President Barack Obama, basically spitting at my food as I'm eating my food and I have to get up and leave. Because I'm not allowed to fucking eat my meal right after fucking cancer. And he's laughing. This is what this fucking nigger and his fucking wife are doing. Right after I got it, I'm dying in a fucking hospital. I'm 23 years old. They sent President Barack Obama's goddamn nigger wife dressed in a fucking priest outfit. It's a transgender, walks in there to fucking give a fucking prayer. I'm fucking dying in fucking real life. I'm chemotherapy. I'm fucking losing my hair. I'm grabbing my hair and there's chunks of fucking hair. I'm fucking vomiting. I can't stop throwing up. I think this is death. I'm going to die. I know that I'm going to go into a coma soon. I'm not going to be able to physically pick up my body and my neck and my head off this fucking bed. I'm just going to be laying there soon. And that's what ended up happening. This is what happens. This is what they're doing. But they're all talking. They're doing it for the niggers, for president. Oh, he just, let me different. And there's no one to cry to. There's no one to tell this to. No one is going to go and get a gun and assassinate, his daughters or his wife because of what he did. None of that shit's going to happen. I just go into a garbage can, I die, and that's it. I'm worthless. Breeze. Nothing. It's very difficult because there's not very much, there's nothing that I can do, because that goddamn fucking worthless family, fucking nigger, a fucking monkey piece of shit, knew he's always going to be in power. He does not need to be in my presence for any fucking reason. Whatever he decides, whatever he's doing in secret, who he kills secretly, George Bush, they don't have to be around me. They already know they're in full power. They only showed up to do harm to me and to use it as a political chess piece movement. To then say, oh, it's blood, heart, no, Jesus, no, fuck you. That's all it is. It's just to do harm for later collateral. It's nothing good. Nothing good at all. I don't get money from this. I think I get a ticket or two before I even show up. When I see him at Gensler, at the architectural building, President Barack Obama, and there's a police officer, a security guard waiting at me at the doors and kind of walks a little bit with me when I'm walking, like it's someone important that was there because I was there. He's having his shoes shine right there in front of, having his little just slavery. Other guy doing this shining his shoes bullshit. I mean, I'm homeless when I'm thinking about this shit. And I'm homeless and it's so fucked up because the system that they're doing this to me is to drive you crazy mentally. So you just mentally, you have no structure. Like they're gonna keep doing it, and they kept doing that to me. So that the more that I look crazy, the more that I behave in each form of mental disorder, the police officers and anyone that does want to help me then doesn't want to do anything, because it's straight women that want to do something, not these faggots. The faggots and the transgenders are claiming that they were sending girls toward me. They didn't send any goddamn fucking thing. That's women that do that shit, not transgenders, not these faggots. And they were claiming, oh, you don't know what you're doing, that's why it was bullshit. It was just to harm me, nothing to help me. And it's, you know, it's so consistent. You know, nobody has any idea. You know, I'm going to these places, and you know, I go into these random restaurants. I walk to a store just to buy time. I look at paintings, or I try to go look at artwork, or I try to look at memorabilia inside a store, and they're nasty. There'll be usually 2 to 3 people that'll be out of a 10. I walk randomly into a restaurant, not restaurant, a store or a gift shop, nasty, aggressive, or want to express something bad toward me. Usually about 3 out of 10. I walk the register, the cashier's registers, those are about 50% of the time. And this is like when I'm walking down the street randomly and I just walk into a fucking store randomly. They already know who the fuck I am. Then I have to think about that while I'm here in this perimeter, everyone else is being GPSed and they're trying to figure out then what else they're going to do to me. Because then when I walk out, I have to be careful, because everything that I'm doing, somebody will try to run into me. I've had a lot of people do this to me, a lot. I'll be coming out of the store, or I'll be turning around the corner, I'll be going into a store, and they already know because I'm on GPS, or they know who I am. They already have their own hatred movement against me for the faggots and for the transgender movement. And I'll walk in and they'll get near me and they'll do this. And they'll make a conversation with their friends, and they like direct it at me. Like there'll be like 2 or 3 guys, the guy would be really big, or it'd be some thug. And this is on with all the time. You remember the police officer, and the police officers, there've been times when they have seen this violence with another person, and they'll get in they're driving their car and they'll do this. Like, yeah, go after him. Like, kill him. Like, I'm not kidding. They full eye contact with what's happening. Someone acting threatening and violent, and they know what's going on. They know about what's going on. They ordering these people, and they kept on doing it to me. Now they're watching. So when they know that when they drive by and they saw the violent happening, or like they can tell that I'm uncomfortable or someone, they intentionally are smiling and laughing, and they start telling the other faggots, because it's one of their own faggots. They're, for the faggots, for the rainbows, for the transgenders, for the president transgender faggots, for the niggas. Most of all cops are white. I don't ever come across black cops ever, but I've only come across just a handful. But it's majority. Everybody knows they're always racist. That's why there's only black. That's why when black cops there is, it's the only time when it's not racist. But I thought I'd make a video on this to say a little about what these experiences are, because I haven't talked about this in a while, and there's so many fucking things that it was nonstop. I'd walk into a bathroom and I'd smell heavy loads of chlorine. And there's a few things that I think about that. There's either somebody's cleaning the bathroom, which is a good thing, or can it be used as a threat? That maybe someone did something prior to me that suggested they were going to poison me. And, maybe it was a suggestion of something, but it usually isn't. It always has a meaning to it. It's not a meaning of God of any kind. these hints you think that you listen to God or sending you messages, bunch of bullshit. There is no room for this, especially for the world that I live in, because it's so directed in hate and control. It's to make themselves feel better. It's very contentful whenever you think you think you're going to a good place and you don't believe in any fucking good God at all. Whatever God that is, whether crucifix or Buddha, you don't believe in any good God, and you're a disgusting fucking person. And they feel very content in how they're doing business. This good for this bad, kill the Al-Qaeda, saving the country. Did it for the president. Transgender, you know how transgender and gays think. They're different. They see the world different. And that's the way they process shit. But I'm still going to die like everybody else. I'm not allowed to have a normal car, go to a normal job. Nobody knows me, do my work, do my little punch card deal, scan my card for work or whatever it may be, or just clock in, do my work. I don't get to have that. And I've tried unlocking, when I'm homeless and I'm traveling, I go to the airport. These white supremacists start doing it. For Ken Cooper, for Sarah Cooper, we're not racist over here, this is for Kenneth. And it's just because they know that these pieces of shit, degrading me to those scum piece of shit levels that they're at, and then degrading me even more because they feel sorry for this piece of shit. I'm getting 45 fucking tickets after cancer. I'm having $2,000 stolen from me when they sabotage my transmission. I'm vomiting. They don't care. My problems don't preoccupy. I just want you to be in pain and suffer, dehumanize you. And the president has given us orders to do that, and the police officers are doing it. When I go to jail, when people go to jail, the president and all that shit doesn't even matter. The people, do you know how long they've been shooting these electronic devices at me? They were shooting these electronic devices at me, and I was getting in my car and going to work, going at 7 o'clock after work, to go to Whataburger, to go to a Wendy's to get something to eat, and I'd get a ticket. I get an $800 ticket because I was just trying to drive down the street to go get, some chicken or some burger. I get an $800 ticket in real life. I swear to God, I'm 25 years old, a year and a half, 2 years after cancer. I can't be in the sun. I can't stay in the sun because the UV rays raises my chances of getting cancer. I'm 3 to 4 more times like getting cancer permanent for the rest of my life. So I try to stay out of the sun. I can't even eat healthy like I would like. I have to eat a lot of fast food, shit food. But I try to be grateful for it. I'm making $10, $11, my rent's $600. My food to feed me costs at least $300 a month, and I can't even go to the grocery store and purchase food to put in the fridge because can't trust the homes that I live in that they're going to poison my food and they're going to do something to my food. I don't buy food. I don't ever put food in the refrigerator either at work. That's definitely a thing I don't ever do because I was just scared they were going to poison me or do something to me because that's the way they can do it. And it's happened lots of times before. Even when I was younger, I talked about Diana poisoned the shit out of me. My dad's sister poisoned me as well. Vomiting blood nearly dying when Frankie was getting raped at Leach's house. But, I literally, I'm 25 years old. I get off work on a Friday, on a Wednesday, come home to nothing, to a shit life, but try to be grateful. I don't get there until about 6:30. I get off work at 5. I have to be in traffic for like an hour, go pick up maybe gas. Paranoid, I'm trying not to get a ticket. There's a million cars around. When I get to that house, Mara's house or whatever it was, I decide I'm gonna go get something to eat. I'm gonna go to Wendy's and get a burger. I go there, less than a 15-minute drive. 10-minute drive. 7 minutes to get there. For going there, the cops are waiting for me. I get an $800 ticket for a $12 meal. One time. And they're shooting me with electronic devices. Because the electronic devices then trigger me to get in my car and I'm going to go get something to eat or go do something. And I normally wouldn't have done that. I start to be really anxiety because the electronic devices, I'm not sure if somebody's doing this or harassing me or doing this. I want to get up and go do something positive. I'm going to go to recreation or go to 7-Eleven, give me some Powerade, just to go drive and do something. Even though I don't have insurance, you got to understand, I'm trying to live a normal life, and you shouldn't have got me in your fucking car. But they're shooting the electronic devices at me. I get in my car and I get an $800 ticket. But when I go to jail and I have to sit inside jail, I have to sit in jail to pay that ticket. For that one time they were shooting me with electronic devices, just like they did just now. And I have to go to jail for 2 weeks. Because I went to go get something to eat at a fast food restaurant in my car. When they were shooting me with electronic devices with no money, a year and a half after cancer. And they're giving me shit all about my personal life and my job site. Because Frankie got raped, Miguel, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson, the gay leader, the gay god of the overlord of all. This is what they're doing. The President of the United States, the President of the United States, President Barack Obama for the niggas. And it doesn't ever change. When I went to court, and I'm speaking to the judge of these tickets, not one time did I ever tell them, not one time, because I didn't know it was happening, did I say, someone is beating the hell out of me with electronic devices and was triggering me to get in this fucking car, and now I have to pay with my fucking goddamn life. Had I done something violent, I would have never known or presented that case that somebody was beating me with electronic devices inside that courtroom. And I would have done 15 years in a penitentiary, 10 years, or wherever how long it was, 5 years, 3 years, whatever that may have been. Lost my life in the most horrific, tragic situation you can imagine, a cancer patient. And then you never would have heard, just like they wanted, the rapes that happened to Frankie and my mother and that dead little girl and what I had done for my father. And they got $400,000 at the bank for my disease, for me not suing the company I work for and the hospital for what they did to me. And I can't even find a job because Mike Standish and Gary Gwynn and Michael are all attacking me for supremacy. Terrifying me, and you can't explain it anymore. Because remember, the time ran out. The details of how you try to talk about something that happened a long time ago are now different from what they really were at that moment in time. Or is that your memory or mine? But we got you, didn't we? And they keep doing this. Keep doing this. I'm nearly digging in trash cans for food, and then they try to say that it's my fault. Then they try to say it's the president. No, it's because he's trying to degrade. No, it's just because of. They don't care. Remember how Frankie got raped? He's eating very comfortably in his house. I watched him bring fast food. I watched him bring food from restaurants into their house. They're bringing food from the grocery stores. Frankie had bruises this big on his rib cage, and I saw them in front of my mother. On his back and ribs. Purple, green. I mean, it looked like somebody, motherfucker, fuck you. I'll fuck you in your ass, and I get away with it. You're gonna get Ken Cooper. You're gonna get white supremacy cowboy, white supremacy for the Kenneth at the radio station. He's a hero. He's different. He's transgender for President transgender wife. President Barack Obama's daughter transgender. It's fucking crazy. He is in his room for 15 years fucking being ass fucked. I saved him from at least 6 or 7 of them. My entire childhood, I'm a deterrent. Nobody understands this. But I'm eating in a trash can, nearly. And people are fighting, and this is 10, 15 years. Nobody cares, nobody gives a shit. But they care enough shoot an electronic device. Okay, cut his food stamps off. Okay, don't let him get a job. Okay, and so the constant control, threats. There's no quality. I'm in Alaska. This happened to me in Alaska. I was moving material, and I think this is when President Barack Obama got out of the White House. There's somebody that threatened me. He was a white guy. Looked like Kenneth Cooper at the radio station, but a healthy version of him, right? Because they always feel patriotic, and they always feel representative when they have the same sort of skin tone, ethnicity, eye color, and hair color. Like, you won't ever see a black person really defend an Asian person with their Buddhism. Never going to happen in life. And so these people will immediately inherit their spirit and think that's who they are, and they'll attack me. This guy starts threatening me. He goes, "Watch it, bro, crush your ass." And he's standing in front of like the American flag. I'm picking up boxes of files, taking them to the elevator and put them on the truck. I'm already homeless. I'm homeless. I actually bring my homeless backpack to the job site. And he's moving from one office to the other. This is like when President Barack Obama is leaving the office. This guy's threatening me. And he looks like to back off him, motherfucker, fuck your spick ass. Like, this is no joke. This is like for real. And I'm so bullied and punked. Like there's nothing there's many of these times, there are times in my mind that there's nothing good that went in my mind. That's the totally opposite of what good is. What I want to do for these individuals. What I'm going to do to myself to what I'm going to do to this person. Because I don't care about life anymore. And there's nothing that I can do. And he makes the direct threat at me coming from the president. It's a very direct, there's no misguided direction, there's nothing about this. He sets me in an office, he makes his threat, he engages, I'm doing my job as much as I can, and then they begin shooting me with electronically, training me, and I'm like having these other workers that know about what's going, partially know who I am or what's going on, and it's uncomfortable with them. I'm all by myself, I have nothing or nobody. $20 in my pocket, I'm getting $70. This is from just 30 to 35. I'm in Alaska for 6 months. I'm in Seattle, Washington, and it never stops. You know, they make it. I nearly have to write a 20-page essay to get food stamps, and I'm living underneath a bridge, and I'm calling them 3 or 4 times a week, telling them this, telling them that. I'm asking them if they got everything. The paperwork did it finally go through? Is there anything else you need? Just to get $20 of food stamps, I have to spend probably $20, close to $20, just making trips from printing out the paper at a UPS or library, mailing it at the post office, and the buses that it takes me there. And then I have to go get snacks. I have to live my life, so I would pick up a beef jerky, or I'll pick up something on the way there, going to a food stamp office. And they give me like $40. And it's persecution, dehumanizing. I'm watching people driving Mercedes. I watch people drive around 15 Lamborghinis or driving when I'm in Hawaii. And it's fucking crazy. It's 15, it's fucking disgusting. Porta potties. It's fucking disgusting. It's horrible situation. And, these homeless experiences nobody knows about, how bad they were. Being homeless is one thing, because when people don't know who you are, you really can depend on yourself. You really can, like, if you really want to go to school to change your life, and I've heard so many stories, so nobody knows who you are, and you just found something interesting. Get away from the bitch mother that fucking didn't think any of your life. Get away from the father who didn't care about your life, and threw you to the fucking curb and took all the fucking money. Fuck that bitch. Didn't give a fuck about your fucking life. and you go to school and you're living in a homeless shelter for a year and you get a college degree and you found something you want to do and found a person. There's stories like that, a lot of them, and you can. Not when people are following you, stalking you. Not when people are stalking and following you. But you can depend on yourself and you can do these types of things. And you start a life over in a different state, in a new country. Start a life in a new country. You can follow your dreams, get your education. When you're in your 35, 30s, or late 40s, who knows? Move to Japan, move to Canada, move to Europe. I met people that came from Europe to move to the U.S. for permanent residency. And, but I think it's important, that doesn't pertain to any of my life. None of that was allowed. None of that was going to happen. So I thought I'd share and make a video on this because it's just, there's nothing, I'm still going to die like everybody else, except that I didn't enjoy this life. And they're making it as hard and miserable as they can on me. I'm much more content with nobody knowing who I was and much more content on my own belief of God than them telling me that the only reason I don't want to worship Jesus was because I was going to go hang myself in the road. And earlier, when I started saying that all these things that I'm talking about, what they believe in this object of this crucifix, they began shooting my neck painfully. And the reason they do that is because they automatically insinuate and point the gun at me, claiming that I'm going to hang myself and I'm going to kill myself because I don't want to live in this world and it's Jesus. If I believe in that crucifix, then that's a safe way to go. But any other type of God that doesn't believe in that, then it's only the devil, and it's only, ghost and only all this other shit. As you can see right now, they're shooting right now this electronic device at me right there. Exactly right there. So keep in mind, as I'm moving my hands and I'm pointing at things, they're shooting the electronic device right now on my finger. They're shooting something right now, right exactly at this location I'm pointing at. I don't know if you can see that. Exactly right there. So I think it's important for me to say this because they tell me who to believe, they tell me who to think, and they train me. That is why the mortality situation is going to be pleasant for them, because they're just looking for a trash can. I can go to a hospice right now, like this motherfucker, this piece of shit motherfucker I went to go drop off a card to, he'd be dead. I don't have any association with this motherfucker. But he wants to commit suicide for Sarah and Ken Cooper and take the price tag for the emotions. He puts a picture of a Mexican girl saying that's his fucking daughter. The little girl wasn't there, but he's insinuating my dad's sister. So he can take that garbage shit spirit away too. And it's a mental poison that they're fucking doing. He dies, it's gone. In a year from now, or 6 months, I'm going to hear the persecution of that as well. And it gives them, the people then around me, even more to then put death on me and dismiss my fucking life like garbage. That I didn't invite this person into my life. I didn't invite any of these scum pieces of shit into my life. It was humiliating, degrading they were in my life. So you can see they're shooting my eyeball right now. It's a very light frequency. Yeah, just shoot them in the eye a little bit, just make them itch a little bit. And it's very consistent. It's very consistent of all the situations that they're doing. So, when I'm this homeless experiences and, I'm going to be leaving here in 6 months. Me personally, I don't like living on Craigslist and Facebook like I have been for 10 years, because even when I'm on disability, because I have to give somebody $650 to live in their house, and it becomes even worse. I have to give them a deposit. They steal my money. They have control over me, and it's a shitty fucking place. And I have to pay them $650. I have no fucking money. I have very little money to retain for myself. I have to give a person money so that they can abuse me, and by their choice, even more than I am in this situation. They beat the fuck out of me with electronic devices and hit the walls. But when they come into the house, they go into the kitchen, everything's arranged the way that they want, all this other shit, they do this to me. And it's non-stop. It doesn't ever fucking stop. You know, I don't like paying people deposits. I don't like people, you know, I don't like going there and paying a $200 deposit because then they held me hostage to that money. They hold me, I pay $650. They know that they can kick me out. And the police officers, remember the police officers? Fuck you. They're not going to do nothing. They're on the faggot side. And then they'll come and threaten me and they'll start saying, yeah, you got to go to a civil court. Yeah, well, you need anything else? You go to a mental hospital? And they'll talk to me that way every time. It's fucking degrading. Steal $650 from me and then I'll have to leave. Or I'll go to another place and I'm unwelcome there and they'll start telling me to worship Jesus there too. Then they'll start talking about my mother. They'll start talking about Frankie being raped, me being raped, and the majority for a long period of time, especially I would say the last since I've been raped, accumulated about 5 or 6 years. I would say altogether that the focus in every environment was let's feel sorry for Patricia Gardina, the transgender who cut off their dick and raped me. And let's feel sorry for that instead of the cancer I had or the things good that I do. Patricia Gardina this transgender piece of shit was fucking laughing. The way that this person behaved around me was in joy, telling me I was going to die cancer to my face. This is I couldn't believe that these people were in the movement to feel sorry for. It's like feeling sorry for Miguel and Diana. This is what these motherfuckers were doing. This is what these motherfuckers were doing. And it's just to feed off the emotion. It's just to feed off the emotion of dehumanizing your emotional state of mind. Not just as a human being, but to feast off those emotions as much as they can. Look, like right now, they're shooting me right now at the bottom, at the side of my leg, at this very part right here. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but it's from here, they're shooting and it hurts. And so somebody's getting this gun and doing this. Yeah, I tell you right there, that's where you need to hurt, and that's where you're going to get it. And it plays because I'll control your brain. You see how I control your brain? And they did this shit to me when I was in my car getting tickets. I have to go to work and spend 40 hours a week, if not more, to pay for this ticket. I get arrested at my job site. They tow my car. They shoot the electronic device, make me shit by force, and I feel like somebody's forcing me to do things. I get in my car, I get a $1,000 ticket. Nobody brings up the electronic devices. Nobody brings up any of the circumstances that I should be able to bring up in a courtroom. Somebody's beating the fuck out of me, and I know that they are, and before I didn't know, and they just took 40 tickets and gave them to me, and I'm a cancer patient and won't give me a job, and they're doing it also by the employees threatening me about who's going to get it. I'm being shocked with these electronic devices. I owe over $50,000 of surcharges. That surcharges is completely different from the actual tickets that I have to pay for. This hurts. They're doing this. I'm going to go in my car. But do you see how I'm in the conversation about how disgusting those transgenders Barack Obama's daughter is for that faggot nigger that did this to me with his fucking wife when I'm dying in a hospital with the priest? Transgender, I'm talking about transgender, he began shooting me in my fucking leg. But a person raped me. But I wasn't allowed to have a job, I was getting tickets, but they're there to help me. They're there to help me beat the fuck out of me with electronic devices and make an excuse why they did what they did to me. That's a fucking decapitated fucking human body that was filled with green pus in that fucking hole. And the faggots in these militaries at these corners, the Marines, are laughing or having a good joy about it because they go kill Taliban. Remember, it's American flag. Oh no, it's because the president in the World Trade Center. People jumping out of a fucking building killing themselves. No, it's because of Jesus Christ. They don't give a fuck. That's how garbage it fucking is. anyway, I'll make another video to talk more about my homeless experiences. I got several other videos. I'm gonna talk about these homeless voyages and everything I'm having to go through with this.